Hey, this is Chantal Gerardy from the Meaningful Marketing Podcast, and today I'm here with Orly Muscat from Coastal Babysitters. I'm so super excited to have her here today because we're going to be talking about some crucial, important factors within a business, and that is customer service, being values-driven, and running a successful business and making sure that we really prioritize those key values in a business. So thank you so much for joining us, Orly.
Thanks, Chantal. I'm so excited to be here today.
So I'm sure everyone wants to know how you started your business. I mean, how did you start a babysitting business? I've seen you in the networking circles for like years, and both of us grew our businesses, which was kind of cool. But I'm curious to know, like, how did it actually start? Were you a babysitter? Was it before your kids? Like, tell us the story.
Yeah, sure. So I've always known from a young age that I wanted to do something that involved working with kids. So I thought I wanted to be a teacher. Straight from school, I went to uni and I started doing teaching. And then I did my first prac, and the teacher handed me a notebook that was so thick and said, that's a lesson plan you have to do every term. And I was like, that is not for me. And I ran the other way and I decided to travel. So travel was always a big part of me, and I didn't go back to uni at the moment. So then when I had my first daughter, I was like, all right, now I need to do something for me. I don't just want to be I love being a mum, obviously, but I needed to do something for me as well at home. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a swim teacher because I always like seeing kids smile and doing things that make them happy. So I went and got my swim teacher, did the course. And then when Ella, my eldest was 6 months old, we decided to go to Canada, hubby and I and her, for a ski season. So when we went over there was a babysitting agency over there. And I was like, oh, I might just do this to get a bit of extra money. So I started babysitting for them. And I was like, oh, this is a good idea. I could do this back in Australia, especially on the Gold Coast because it's such a tourist place. So I went and approached the owner of the company and said, I might start this when I get back to Australia. Can you show me how it all works? And she sat with me and did it. So I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm an all or nothing person. So I went back to Australia. Ella was 1, and little did I know I was about to be pregnant with the second one. And I just started building my business, just starting from nothing. And it just grew from there. 9 years later.
What would you say were some of the biggest learnings or challenges or obstacles that you had when you first started your business?
So I feel like in the last 9 years there's been lots of challenges. You know, like we've had COVID, we've had the interest rates, we've had lots of different big challenges. But starting my business, just to start with, especially for babysitting, getting the credibility, because you have to build trust, but no one's going to hire you as a babysitter straight away without having trust. So a way to just be known really fast, to build the trust fast, to start your business, because you're like, how do you get trust if you don't get the clients first? So I basically just did every community event I could, get really well known in the community. Social media was a really good way to get front, and it was a lot easier when I started 9 years ago as well. So I think just building the trust was probably the biggest challenge to start with.
Yeah. And I mean, now you don't actually do the babysitting. You've actually go and you find babysitters to work for your company. Yep. And then you also have to then find people who need babysitting done so that you can then service the babysitters. So tell us a little bit about how that all works, or how you even got into all of that.
Sure. So I actually never did babysitting to start with. I always knew I wanted to manage it. So it's about having the right amount. It's tricky because it's a two-way street, because you need to have the right amount of babysitters and clients to service enough clients for the babysitters to get enough work, and enough work for you know what I'm trying to say? Enough for both, and grow them at the same time. Because if you grow one without the other, you're always letting the other person down. So just when I started off, I just got a small team of babysitters together, and then as my company built, I just got more and more babysitters on board. But it's so important to have the right babysitters. Like, I can't stress how important it is, because that's basically our product and our service. Without them being amazing, we're not going to build trust and build a great brand.
Yeah, so I know that it's very important for you that you know that your business is values driven, and it's very important for you that you offer a good service and that customer service is really important to you. So tell us a little bit about how you go about vetting your babysitters, and then I also know that you've put together a course or an onboarding course to ensure that you have like a standard or an operational standard that the babysitters can follow so that you can actually give good customer service through your babysitters.
Yeah, 100%. So what I did is I was like, I'm a mum myself. I feel like I know what a lot of mums want and need. So I created minimum standards for my babysitters. So there's non-negotiables that have to be done at every single job for them to, so I know that, you know, at a minimum level of service, customers are always going to get the same quality. So all of our sitters have to have their, obviously, blue card, first aid and CPRs, but they also have to be either parents themselves or have worked in a child-related role for at least 3 years. That way I know they've got at least a certain quality and a certain skill set to work with kids. So that already puts them at a certain level. And then we interview them in person because I think a lot of the time just seeing credentials, you know, anyone can write anything on paper and you can see them, but I need to get to know their personalities. And, you know, we're really big on connection and fun. So I need to know that they're going to go and be professional. So I need to see all of those qualities as well when they come in for an interview. And once I know they have that, that's when we're happy to have them. And then they go on and do our training. And that's when we're happy to send them out to other people's houses. And I always say, if I wouldn't trust them with my own kids, there's no chance that I'd send them out to other people's families, because that's really important to me.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. There were a few key things there that you really spoke about. And the first one is that when you were there at the babysitting place in Canada, you spoke about how you asked the babysitter agency to talk to you about what you could do. And I love that because the ask principle is something that I teach all the time. And not enough people ask questions. They don't have the courage to go and actually ask for opportunities, ask for explanations. And I absolutely love that you did that because that's a great principle. The other thing that you spoke about is quality assurance and customer service. And I think not enough people place enough emphasis on that, especially if you're looking for return work all the time. People are constantly going out looking for new leads, rather than looking at who they've got, like who they've already had as a client and how they can better serve them and what they can do better. So I love so many of those key things that you said. Now, the other thing here that you said was that you weren't a business owner. You hadn't even studied being a business owner. And now here you are creating this massive company now, because you're in Brisbane, you're in Gold Coast, you're in Byron Bay. I know you've got an app coming out as well. So you're expanding Australia wide. So you've grown this massive business. And I also know that in order to grow a massive business like that, you've got to go and do the yucky things that people don't want to do. So can you talk to me about some of the yucky things? And I know probably systems is probably one of those things. Yeah. It usually is systems, marketing, automations, onboarding, you know, all these things. Talk to me about the yucky things that you had to do in order to grow a business.
Oh, there's so many things I've had to do that I don't enjoy, but I also love learning, so I've never thought of it as not enjoying it because it's for something I love and get to do every day. I've never thought of it as yucky. The only things that I find yucky personally is if I have to tell a team member, you know, talk to them about something that hasn't gone right. I don't like the HR side of things because I'm a very people pleaser and I like to make everybody happy. So I do struggle with having to have hard conversations with my team and clients as well, you know, if something happens. So that's been a bit of a yucky learning curve that I've had to learn, but it's also comes with a lot of growth. So I've really enjoyed the whole journey. I think my team know that I think I'm an ideas person and quite chaotic. So my whole business from the start was built by chaos. You can imagine when I ran it all by myself. So my team are still fixing things 9 years later that I've created in chaos from the start, which work for me, which don't work for a lot of people. So that's a bit of something I've had to learn and grow through. Sometimes they're like, you know, you can stay away, work from home today, because when I come in, it's just like this whirlwind and they're like, what has just happened? But yeah, we're getting there. And like I said, we're learning and growing every day. So even those yucky things that aren't fun, I do enjoy them because I get to learn and I do love learn.
So many good things there as well. So I don't know if you can tell, but Orly is ADHD like I am. So
We're probably like, blah, 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 blah.
blah, 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 all over the place. And we are ideas things. But I think, I always say I know the beast I am. And if you know who you are as a business owner and you know the qualities that you bring, but you also know the potential disruptions that you can bring to your business, you can work around them, you know. So for example, if you come in and you give 1,000 ideas, you also know then to step away and allow the team to go pick those things up. And you also know then to make sure that you have the right team in place who firstly can work with that type of person and secondly have the capabilities to go and actually clean up after you, because my team does the same.
Yeah, definitely.
They love it when I go away and I present. Whenever I'm presenting, they're like, yes.
We've got a week of calm.
We've got a week of calm. We can actually go and put everything into structure and in a place or whatever. And I come back and it's all nice. But it is important that the right team around you can work with that personality type. Like that is fundamental because not everyone can. And then they also enjoy that. Like that's one of their skills. They enjoy picking up the stuff as well. So
definitely. I think it's important as well that you open with your team and because they know you're like that. But if they know that you laugh about it and can have a laugh about it, they're not sitting there going, it's all open and we can, it's all a laugh together.
Yeah. So one of the things also that I know about you is when it comes to your marketing and with your customer service, everything for you is really authentic. It's really values driven and you're all into that connection. And that's how you ensure you get those word of mouth referrals and repeat customers. Yeah. So what are your values and how do you ensure that they stay within the business?
Yeah. So our biggest values are trust, obviously, support. So just having that human connection, and I never want to lose that to the digital world. Yes, it's great to be able to book online and do all those things, but I think having the human connection and having someone to talk to if you're feeling a bit nervous or if something happens, always having, and it's I don't know, it's also, I find it's a way you keep customers, they want to come back to you because they feel like they get to know you when it just goes all onto the digital world for something like dealing with children, and you want to know that you're talking with a real human. So support, connection, fun. We're all about bringing the fun. So we don't, when you have a babysitter, you don't want to just them to turn up and sit there on their phone and put the kids in front of the TV. That's not what it's about. You want them to we always bring activities and make sure that they have just as much fun as you're having out on your date night. We want you to get back and they tell you all about this amazing night you've had, and also say, Mum, can you go out again so that we can have the babysitter back? Because how much easier is that then for you as well to be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then everyone's happy. So just excellence, like a high standard excellence, and freedom, because it's important, so important for parents to have their own freedom to do things and find the time that they love, whether it is a date night and reconnect with hubby or just going to the beach and reading a book. So many things, but you definitely need your own time to be able to be a better mum and a better husband and wife and person for everyone in your family.
So business owners, if you haven't already done this, I highly encourage you to go and work out what your values are in your business, whether or not they're your values for yourself, for your team, for your customers, or for your business. Make sure that you have them so that you can at least have a standard that you can look at. The other thing here that I really love is the fact you constantly look at yourself and you go, what would I want as a mother? And, what would I want to see as a mother and as a parent? And then you really pay attention to your customer and look at what their pain points are and how they're feeling. And I think that that's really, really important when coming up with your business model, that you completely understand your customer well. So I think you've done that really well.
Yeah, I think it really helps because I am a mum and I can put myself in the shoes of what a mum would like. And also I do use my own babysitters, and when I come home and the babysitter has completed all of my minimum standards that I've put together, I'm just like, I often say to my husband, wow, that's such an amazing service, because you just feel so good. The kids are so happy, and I'm really proud of what I've put together and what I've created. So it's a really good way that I can always quality assure and test out my own service as well. So yeah,
So don't have any more children.
No, three's enough. Love my 3 kids, but it definitely keeps me busy.
So talk to us a little bit about what you think your points of difference are in the marketplace, because like my daughters, I've got three daughters, and my daughters have all studied childcare. They've all got their blue cards and whatever, and they do babysit and they nanny. They've done a lot of work within the church and helping out with babysitting and nannying and that.
Yep.
But for you need to basically try and convert those babysitters and get those babysitters to come over to you so that they get guaranteed work and all of that, and then of course work. So what would you say your points of difference is in the marketplace?
Yep. So for families,
I know that it's two-pronged.
It's two sides. So for families, it's definitely we've set the standard of almost regulating babysitters. So you know that any of our sitters are going to have all the qualifications, because you don't actually, when you could just jump on Facebook, but you don't know who or what you're going to get. And I can assure you sometimes who you think you're going to get, and then when they, somebody turns up, could be two different things. So from when you're going through us that, they're a bubbly, fun personality. They know what to do in any situation because they've had at least 3 years experience. And that's a big one from getting, say, a 15-year-old is, what if something goes wrong? You don't know if your kid gets sick or they have an accident, or things can happen. It's kids we're talking with. So they know how to deal with things, different things that come up at any time. So I'd say just the experience and the level of profession that you get. And for the babysitters, all you have to do is basically, like, once you go through the process, you can just accept the jobs that suit you. So you have lots of jobs that are available. You don't have to put yourself out there. You don't have to do your own marketing. We do all of that for you. You just have to make sure that you concentrate on doing the best job that you can. And you get to work one-on-one with kids. A lot of babysitters that work in the childcare industry, they come to us and say, look, we just want to do babysitting now because there's just so much paperwork involved. We just want to get back to the roots and really just do one-on-one care with the kids. So we can give babysitters that opportunity to have that.
I mean, I think it's such a great initiative. And the funny thing is that so many people, when they're looking in Facebook groups and that for babysitters, they go, I'm looking for somebody cheap that will look after my child. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It's you could understand how you could maybe get a cheap cleaner, but you don't want to get a cheap babysitter.
That's right. It's your children, and it's your pride and joy. And I know it's always human nature to want to try and save money where you can, but it's you're almost paying. It's like insurance. You're almost paying for if something, the worst situation or something does come up that's unexpected, you've got somebody there that can handle the situation at any time.
Yeah, I think people will pay whatever if there's that trust, and if there's, that credibility and there's that assurance and professionalism behind it.
100%.
They will pay for anything. So I think that's great. So you said you get a lot of word of mouth referrals.
We do.
And your business originally started. So talk to us about, how that happens generally.
I've grown my business, I'd say 80% by word of mouth referrals, just parents just having such a good experience and then sharing it to their friends, because you know what mums are like. Mums like to talk and mums like to recommend, and you trust other mums when they've used services yourself. I know I do it for a lot of things. So just by providing a good service and having amazing babysitters that the parents trust and have experience, they just share it, and then that's how we've grown our business.
And what about reviews? Because I know that you've got a huge amount of reviews as well.
We do. We've got over 1.2 thousand 5-star reviews from happy families. So that's really exciting. Every time we get a 5-star review, our whole office gets so excited. So, we really appreciate it. And we always look at all the feedback, and, we're always improving. So it's great to know how many families there are out there that love us and use our service.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
So I think that all, like those word of mouth referrals and the reviews that you have, I think all of that can be attributed towards the fact that you offer such great customer service.
Yeah, for sure. And we just genuinely, passionately care, myself and my whole team. We really love what we do.
Yeah, so bringing the care factor back into it, I think, which is so good. So you've got an app on the way. So tell us a little bit about the app and what the app's going to do for you.
So the app is going to give parents the functionality to actually jump on, make a booking themselves and track where it's at. So if the job's been filled, because at the moment, we're still using a system that if you've booked a babysitter, we let you know that it's been filled, but if you miss the email or something, it's so easy just to miss it. So you're going to be able to jump on there. You're going to be able to book your babysitter. You're going to be able to request your favourite sitters back. But we're always going to be there in the office as well. We're still going to be able to take the bookings because, like I said, that's so important. But it's just going to give us the capability to handle way more bookings and potentially start expanding into other cities as well.
Okay, so tell us some of the yucky things about developing an app.
Oh my God, I think I've been doing it for 6 years now.
The app?
But not this app. I think I've gone through, I've started and stopped about 4 times with different people, and I finally found an amazing developer. We've probably 1.5 to 2 years now in the making for this one, and we're at the testing stage. Just trying to get out, it's like everything that's in your head to run smoothly and work, and it's all because it takes so long to build. By the time you actually get to the testing stage, you're like, oh, we don't do that anymore. So it's like just never ending. It just takes way longer than expected, and everyone always said the budget blows out too.
Yeah.
Don't want to go down there. But it's going to be so fulfilling and so worth it. And I can just see how much it's going to help everybody once it's there. So yeah, it's more exciting. It's a bit of a fear factor as well when it's actually ready, because then you've got to get it out there and know that it's going to work. So yeah, it's exciting.
So if you had to leave some inspiration for aspiring business owners right now. So business owners right now might be out there struggling away at the moment. What sort of motivational, meaningful something could you offer them right now?
Keep going and don't doubt yourself, because probably the only person that is blocking you moving forward is yourself. If you tell yourself you can do it, any progress is better than no progress. Just keep going. You'll get there, and consistency is key. Just keep showing up, keep going, and believe in yourself.
Yeah, excellent. And what I know from you as well, you've always invested in good coaches.
Yes, definitely. I have.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So where can people connect with you?
So they can jump onto Facebook. They can find us at Coastal Babysitters, or on Instagram, Coastal Babysitters, or also under myself at Orly Muscat.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a comment below and give us a rating.